My landlord texted, "Thanks for the rent check. Got it this morning." I said, "I haven't sent it yet." The next day, I installed a hidden camera in my mailbox. At 3 a.m., someone opened it. When I saw who it was, my blood ran cold. The text came at 9:42 a.m. on a Wednesday while I was sitting in my cubicle at Meridian Financial Services in downtown Chicago, staring at spreadsheets that all looked the same. My landlord, Donald Priest, 58 years old, owned the 3-story apartment building where I'd lived for the past 2 years, sent me messages maybe twice a year, usually about maintenance or lease renewals. "Thanks for the rent check, Alex. Got it this morning. Right on time as always." I read it 3 times. My coffee went cold in my hand. The problem was simple and terrifying. I hadn't sent my rent check yet. It was sitting in my wallet, signed and dated, waiting for me to drop it in the mailbox on my way home from work like I did every month on the 1st. Today was November 1st, 2024. I hadn't mailed anything. My hands started shaking as I typed back, "Mr. Priest, I think there's been a mistake. I haven't sent this month's rent yet. I was planning to mail it tonight." The 3 dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally. "That's strange. I definitely received a check from you this morning. Let me look at it again." A full minute passed. Then, "Never mind, my mistake. Must have been last month's. Sorry for the confusion." But that made no sense. Last month's rent was October. We were in November now, and Mr. Priest was meticulous about his records, kept everything organized in labeled folders, never made mistakes like this. I'd been living in apartment 2B at 847 Ashland Avenue for 26 months when this happened. I was 32 years old, worked as a data analyst, made $68,000 a year, lived alone in a modest 1-bedroom with street parking and laundry in the basement. My life was routine, predictable, maybe boring to some people, but I liked it that way. After growing up in foster care, bouncing between 7 different homes before aging out at 18, stability meant everything to me. No drama, no chaos, just quiet consistency. The building had 6 units total, 3 per floor. I knew my neighbors in passing. Mrs. Kowalski in 2A, 74 years old, widowed, baked cookies that she left outside her door for people. The couple in 2C, Noah and Iris Vance, mid-30s, both worked in tech, kept odd hours. First floor had college students who I rarely saw. Third floor had a young family and a single guy who worked nights. We all paid rent by check, old-fashioned, but Mr. Priest preferred it, said he didn't trust those online payment systems. I'd drop my check in the mailbox outside the building by the 5th of every month, never late, never an issue. Until today. I called Mr. Priest during my lunch break. He answered on the 3rd ring, voice raspy from 50 years of smoking. "Alex, hi. Listen, I apologize for the confusion earlier. I found last month's check in my filing cabinet. Must have had a senior moment. Mr. Priest, you deposited last month's check on October 6th. I have the bank statement showing it cleared." Silence. Long, uncomfortable silence. Well then, I'm not sure what check I was looking at this morning. Probably one of the other tenants. Getting old, memory's not what it used to be. His tone had shifted. Defensive, almost irritated. "Could you check again?" I asked. "Maybe take a photo and text it to me, just so we're on the same page." "Alex, I said I made a mistake. No need to make a federal case out of it. Just mail your November rent when you're ready." He hung up. I sat in my car in the parking garage, engine off, hands gripping the steering wheel. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. That evening, I checked my mailbox before going upstairs. The metal box with my apartment number stamped on it, one of 12 clustered together in the building's entryway. Nothing inside except junk mail and a credit card offer. I checked the outgoing mail slot, the larger box where residents could leave letters for the postal carrier to pick up. Empty. I went upstairs, made dinner, tried to focus on a book, couldn't stop thinking about Mr. Priest's text. At 11:30 p.m., I went back downstairs in my pajamas and checked the mailbox again. Still nothing. But when I pulled out my keys to go back inside, I noticed something. Scratches around the lock on my mailbox. Fresh scratches. Thin silver lines in the black paint where someone had forced something into the keyhole. My stomach dropped. Thursday morning, November 2nd, I stopped at a hardware store on my way to work. Bought a wireless security camera, the kind designed for front porches, weatherproof, motion-activated, night vision capable, connects to an app on your phone. Cost me $89.99. I called in sick to work. First time in 8 months. Told my supervisor I had food poisoning. Then I spent 3 hours figuring out how to install the camera inside the outgoing mail slot, angled so it could see anyone who approached the mailboxes. The camera was small enough to hide behind the metal lip, invisible unless you knew where to look. I connected it to my phone, Tested it 17 times, watched myself on the live feed opening and closing mailbox doors. Perfect view. Crystal clear image. I left my rent check in the outgoing mail slot, clearly visible, white envelope with Mr. Priest's name and address written in blue ink. Then I went upstairs and waited. The app was set to alert me anytime it detected motion. At 2:14 p.m., my phone buzzed. Postal carrier, older woman in uniform, unlocked the outgoing mail slot, removed 3 letters including mine, locked it again, moved on. Normal. Expected. I watched the video twice anyway, looking for anything unusual. Nothing. At 6:33 p.m., Mrs. Kowalski checked her mail, slow shuffle, thick glasses, took her time sorting through envelopes. At 8:45 p.m., the college kid from 1A grabbed something quickly, didn't even look at the camera. At 11:08 p.m., nothing. Midnight, nothing. I went to bed at 12:30 a.m., phone on my nightstand, volume turned up high, charging cable plugged in. The alert woke me at 3:17 a.m. Motion detected. I grabbed my phone, hands fumbling, nearly dropped it. Opened the app. The camera showed someone standing in front of the mailboxes, wearing dark clothes, face angled down. I couldn't see features, just the top of a head, dark hair, average build. They were holding something. A thin metal tool, maybe a screwdriver or letter opener. My mailbox was already open. I watched them reach inside, pull out mail, flip through it quickly, toss back the junk, keep one envelope. My bank statement. Then they moved to the outgoing mail slot. Jimmied the lock with practiced ease, took less than 15 seconds. Reached inside, pulled out letters, found mine, the rent check, pocketed it, closed the slot, turned to leave. The camera caught their face for exactly 3 seconds as they walked away. My blood went cold. It was Noah Vance, my neighbor from 2C, the guy I said hello to in the hallway, the guy who'd helped me carry groceries upstairs 2 months ago when my bags ripped, the guy whose wife made brownies for the building last Christmas. I sat in bed, frozen, watching the video loop. Forward, backward, pause on his face, forward again. No doubt, no question. Noah Vance was stealing my mail at 3:17 in the morning, stealing my rent check. But why? I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Sat at my kitchen table, phone in front of me, watching the video over and over. By 6 a.m., I'd counted 32 times. At 7:15 a.m., I heard Noah's door open, footsteps in the hallway, him leaving for work, whistling something cheerful. I looked through my peephole, watched him walk past my door, gym bag over his shoulder, completely normal, like he hadn't committed mail theft 4 hours earlier. Friday, November 3rd, I called the police non-emergency line, explained the situation. Mail theft, caught on camera, have video evidence. The operator transferred me. I talked to Officer Dennis Yao, 23 years with Chicago PD, Property Crimes Division. Sir, mail theft is a federal offense. You need to contact the Postal Inspection Service, not local police. Can't you at least look at the video? My neighbor is stealing from my mailbox. Do you have proof he's been doing this multiple times? I have proof from last night. And my landlord received a rent check I didn't send, which means someone forged my signature or… Officer Yao cut me off. So you think your neighbor stole your check, forged your signature, and gave it to your landlord? When he said it like that, it sounded crazy. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I have video of him stealing my mail at 3 in the morning. File a report with the Postal Inspection Service. They handle mail crimes. If you want to file a theft report with us, you can come to the station. But without proof of multiple incidents or financial loss, it's not going to be a priority. I hung up. Googled the Postal Inspection Service. Called their hotline. Got an automated menu. Pressed 4 for mail theft. Got transferred. Rang 18 times. No answer. Left a voicemail with my name, number, and a brief explanation. Never got a call back. That evening, I knocked on Noah's door. Iris answered. She was 36, worked in user experience design, always friendly. Oh, hey, Alex. What's up? Is Noah home? He's at the gym. Should be back around 8. Everything okay? I forced a smile. Yeah, just wanted to ask him something. Nothing urgent. She smiled back. Okay, I'll tell him you stopped by. I thanked her, went back to my apartment, and spent the next 3 hours researching mail fraud, identity theft, federal statutes, penalties. Mail theft, up to 5 years in prison. Identity theft, up to 15 years. But I needed more evidence. One video wasn't enough. I needed to know what Noah was doing with the checks, why he was taking them, what his endgame was. Saturday, I went to the bank. Chase branch on Clark Street, asked to speak to someone about my account. Got directed to Melissa Tran, personal banking specialist, 12 years with the company. I explained that I thought someone might be forging checks in my name. She pulled up my account. I can see all your recent transactions. What specific checks are you concerned about? My rent check for November. I wrote it, but it was stolen before I could mail it. If someone tries to deposit it, they'd need your signature, she interrupted. If the signature doesn't match our records, the check would be flagged. Can you put a stop payment on it? She typed something. Check number? I pulled out my checkbook. $3,847. Stop payment fee is $35. It'll take 24 hours to process. I paid the fee. Felt slightly better. Slightly. Then I asked, can you check if any unusual checks have cleared recently? Maybe ones I didn't write? Melissa scrolled through my transaction history. All the checks that have cleared match your signature. October rent, cleared October 8th. Electric bill, cleared October 14th. Everything looks normal. What about deposits? Has anyone deposited checks made out to me? No unauthorized deposits, just your paycheck, direct deposit every other Friday. I thanked her, left the bank feeling paranoid and stupid. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe Noah had just grabbed my mail by accident, thought it was his, would return it later. Except he'd been picking the lock. At 3 o'clock in the morning, with practiced ease. That wasn't an accident. Sunday, I installed a second camera, this one pointed at Noah's apartment door from across the hallway. Tiny lens, tucked into the corner of the ceiling, motion activated. If he left his apartment, I'd know. If he came back with mail, packages, anything, I'd have video. I felt like a stalker, felt like I was losing my mind, but I couldn't stop. Monday, nothing. Noah left for work at 7:30 a.m., came home at 6:45 p.m., normal routine. Wednesday, my phone buzzed at 2:54 a.m., motion at the mailboxes. I opened the app, heart pounding. Noah again, same dark clothes, same metal tool. This time he opened 3 mailboxes. Mine, Mrs. Kowalski's, the family on the 3rd floor. Took mail from each. Envelopes, what looked like bills, bank statements, pocketed everything. Gone in 90 seconds. I had him. Clear video. Multiple instances. Federal crime. I called the Postal Inspection Service hotline again Wednesday morning. This time someone answered. Inspector Douglas Reeves, Federal Postal Inspector, 19 years investigating mail crimes. I explained everything. The videos, the stolen checks, my neighbor. Send me the footage, he said. Email it to the address I'm about to give you. Include dates, times, your contact information, and a written statement. I did. Sent both videos, wrote a 3-page statement detailing every incident. Inspector Reeves called me back Thursday afternoon. Mr. Caldwell. It's Harding. Alex Harding. Right, sorry. Mr. Harding, I've reviewed your footage. We have clear evidence of mail theft. I'm going to open an investigation. I'll need to interview you in person, probably early next week. In the meantime, do not confront your neighbor. Do not tell anyone about this investigation. Act normal. Can you do that? Yes. Good. I'll be in touch. I hung up, felt validated, vindicated, also terrified, because Noah lived 20 feet from my front door. Friday, November 10th, I was leaving for work when Noah stepped out of his apartment at the same time. We nearly collided. Oh, hey, Alex, how's it going? His voice was casual, friendly, normal. I forced a smile. Good. You? Can't complain. Hey, Iris mentioned you stopped by last week. Did you need something? My throat felt tight. Just wanted to borrow a drill, but I ended up buying one. No big deal. Cool. Well, if you ever need anything, just knock. He smiled, walked past me toward the stairs. I stood there, frozen, watching him go. He had no idea I knew. No idea I'd seen him. No idea federal investigators were building a case. That evening, Inspector Reeves called. Mr. Harding, I need you to come to the federal building Monday at 10 a.m. Bring any additional evidence you have. Bank statements, copies of checks, anything relevant. We're moving forward with the investigation. Are you going to arrest him? I can't discuss investigative strategy. Just come Monday, room 412. I spent the weekend compiling everything. Printed bank statements, made copies of my checkbook register, wrote a timeline of events, saved all the video files to a flash drive. Sunday night, I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, kept checking the camera feeds every 20 minutes. Nothing. Noah's apartment was quiet. Monday morning, I called in sick to work again. Took the train to the federal building in the Loop, went through security, took the elevator to the 4th floor. Inspector Reeves met me in a small conference room. He was 53, gray hair, sharp eyes, wore a suit that had seen better days. With him was another investigator, Special Agent Kimberly Wu, FBI Financial Crimes Unit, 14 years investigating fraud and identity theft. FBI? I asked, sitting down. Why is the FBI involved? Agent Wu answered. Mail theft is often part of larger fraud schemes. Identity theft, check washing, account takeovers. We work with the Postal Inspection Service when crimes cross jurisdictions or involve complex financial fraud. They spent 90 minutes interviewing me. Every detail. Every interaction with Noah. Every missing check. They took my flash drive, my documents, my written statements. Asked if I'd noticed anything else unusual. I told them about Mr. Priest's text, the check he claimed to receive that I didn't send. Do you still have that text? Inspector Reeves asked. I pulled out my phone, showed him. He photographed the screen with his own phone. We're going to need to talk to your landlord. About what? About the check he received. If Noah stole your November rent check and somehow got it to your landlord, that's fraud. We need to see the actual check. Agent Wu leaned forward. Mr. Harding, I want to be straight with you. What we're finding suggests Noah Vance isn't just stealing your mail. We've been investigating him for 6 weeks. My stomach dropped. What? We received reports from other buildings in this neighborhood. Mail theft, identity theft, fraudulent checks. Your videos are the first concrete evidence we have linking him to the crimes, but we think he's part of a larger operation. What kind of operation? Reeves took over. Check washing. They steal checks from mailboxes, use chemicals to erase the payee name and amount, rewrite them for larger sums, cash them at check cashing stores. It's a growing problem, usually organized, usually involves multiple people. I felt dizzy. He's been stealing from the whole building? Possibly the whole neighborhood. We're still investigating. But here's where we need your help. Agent Wu pulled out a folder. We want to set up a controlled operation. You write another check, put it in the outgoing mail. We watch to see if Noah takes it. If he does, we follow the check, see where it goes, who's involved. Then we make arrests. You want me to be bait? We want you to help us catch him and everyone working with him, Reeves said. If you're not comfortable, we can move forward without you. But it'll take longer, and Noah might realize we're investigating. He could destroy evidence, disappear. I thought about Mrs. Kowalski, about her fixed income, her social security checks, about the family on the 3rd floor with 2 kids, about everyone in the building who thought their mail was safe. What do I have to do? They gave me specific instructions. Write a check for $2,500 made out to a fake company they'd created. Put it in the outgoing mail on Wednesday night. Act normal. Don't tell anyone. They'd have surveillance teams watching, tracking the check from the moment Noah took it until it was cashed or deposited. Wednesday, November 15th, I wrote the check at my kitchen table. Hands shaking. $2,500 to Riverside Property Management for made-up invoice. Signed it, dated it, put it in a white envelope, addressed it to a P.O. box the FBI controlled. At 8:34 p.m., I walked downstairs, put the envelope in the outgoing mail slot, and went back to my apartment. Waited. At 1:43 a.m., my phone buzzed. Motion detected. I watched Noah appear on camera. Same routine, same tools, same efficiency. He opened the slot, pulled out mail, found my envelope, held it up to the light, pocketed it, disappeared. I texted Inspector Reeves. He took it. Response came 30 seconds later. We saw. Stay inside. Do not engage. I spent the rest of the night watching the camera feed, but Noah didn't come back. Thursday morning, Inspector Reeves called. The check was taken to a location in Pilsen at 4:18 a.m., a warehouse. We have it under surveillance. Noah met with 3 other individuals. They're processing multiple checks. Looks like a full operation. We're moving in tomorrow morning with arrest warrants. Tomorrow? We need more evidence. Phone records, financial records. We're getting warrants now. By Friday morning, we'll have everything we need. I went to work Thursday, barely functioned. Stared at my computer screen, couldn't focus. Kept thinking about Noah in the hallway, smiling, asking if I needed anything. Kept thinking about how I'd lived 20 feet away from a criminal for 2 years and never knew. Friday, November 17th, 6:14 a.m., I woke to the sound of heavy footsteps in the hallway, shouting, pounding on a door. Federal agents, open up! I jumped out of bed, looked through my peephole. 6 agents in tactical gear, FBI vests, weapons drawn, surrounding Noah's apartment. The door opened. Noah stood there in pajama pants, no shirt, confused. What's going on? Noah Vance, you're under arrest for mail theft, identity theft, and bank fraud. Put your hands behind your back. I watched them cuff him, watched them lead him out. Iris was screaming, crying, asking what was happening. Another agent stayed with her, explaining they had a search warrant. She wasn't under arrest. She needed to stay calm. I backed away from the door, sat on my couch, hands shaking. The aftermath was chaos. Investigators spent 8 hours searching Noah's apartment. They found boxes of stolen mail, hundreds of checks in various stages of being washed, chemicals used to erase ink, fake IDs, bank account numbers for 17 different people in the neighborhood. The FBI issued a press release. Major mail theft ring dismantled. 4 arrests. Over $340,000 in fraudulent checks recovered. The news ran the story. My building was swarmed with reporters. I didn't talk to any of them. Mr. Priest called me, frantic. Alex, the FBI was here. They took records. They asked about a check I received from you. What's going on? I explained everything. The stolen check, the investigation, Noah's arrest. Long silence. I deposited that check, Alex. It cleared. I thought it was legitimate. It wasn't. Noah must have stolen it, washed it, rewritten it to look like it came from me. Did you still have it? The FBI took it, said it was evidence. The check, I later found out, had been washed and rewritten for $1,850, my signature forged, made payable to Donald Priest. The handwriting was close enough that Mr. Priest hadn't questioned it. Noah had been stealing rent checks from multiple tenants, washing them, rewriting them for amounts just below what would trigger scrutiny, pocketing the difference. He'd stolen over $14,000 from our building alone in the past 6 months. Mrs. Kowalski had been a victim. The family on the 3rd floor, the college kids, all of us. None of us had known. The trial was set for March 2025. Noah pled not guilty, claimed he was being framed, said the evidence was planted. His lawyer, Gregory Ashford, 32 years practicing criminal defense, tried to suppress the videos, claimed they were obtained illegally. My client had a reasonable expectation of privacy in the common areas of his building. The prosecutor, Assistant U.S. Attorney Rachel Bergman, 18 years with the Department of Justice, shut that down fast. The defendant had no expectation of privacy while committing federal crimes in a shared mailroom. The cameras were installed by a resident in a common area, not in the defendant's private residence. The evidence is admissible. The judge agreed. Trial proceeded. I testified, walked through everything. The text from Mr. Priest, the scratches on my mailbox, the camera installation, the videos, the sting operation. Noah's lawyer tried to discredit me during cross-examination. Isn't it true you have a history of paranoia? That you've sought mental health treatment? I stayed calm. I saw a therapist after my foster brother died 3 years ago. Grief counseling. That has nothing to do with this case. But it shows a pattern of distrust, of suspicion. It shows I know how to ask for help when I need it. And when I saw evidence of a crime, I reported it to the proper authorities instead of ignoring it. The jury deliberated for 6 hours, guilty on all counts. Noah was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison, ordered to pay $340,000 in restitution. His 3 accomplices got similar sentences. Iris filed for divorce 2 weeks after the verdict, moved out of the building. I saw her once in the hallway while she was packing boxes. I didn't know, she said, tears streaming down her face. I swear to God, Alex, I had no idea what he was doing. I believed her. I'm sorry this happened. He destroyed our lives. Mine, yours, everyone's. I'm so sorry. She left. I never saw her again. 6 months later, April 2025, the building was different, quieter. Mrs. Kowalski moved to a nursing home, said she didn't feel safe anymore. The family on the 3rd floor broke their lease early, moved to the suburbs. New tenants moved in, people who didn't know the history, didn't know what had happened in apartment 2C. Mr. Priest installed new mailboxes, better locks, security cameras in the entryway. Should have done this years ago, he told me. I'm sorry, Alex. Sorry I didn't take your concerns seriously at first. I kept my cameras up, still checked the footage every morning, still felt a spike of anxiety every time I opened my mailbox. Dr. Patricia Nguyen, trauma therapist specializing in victims of crime, told me it was normal. You experienced a violation of trust, not just from Noah, but from the systems that were supposed to protect you. The police who didn't take you seriously, the postal service that didn't respond, your landlord who didn't believe you. That kind of betrayal leaves scars. How long until I feel safe again? I asked. There's no timeline for healing. You do the work. You process it. You learn to trust yourself again. That's what matters. I moved out of the building in June, found a new place in Evanston, smaller, more expensive, but with better security and management that actually responded to concerns. I still have the videos saved, still have all the court documents, still have the news articles with Noah's mugshot. Sometimes I look at them and feel angry. Sometimes I feel vindicated. Sometimes I just feel tired. Last week, I got a letter from the U.S. Attorney's Office. Restitution payment, $2,500, recovered from Noah's seized assets. A check with my name on it, legitimate this time. I deposited it, watched it clear, felt a small sense of closure. If you made it this far, hit like. You've earned it.